Welcome to NightCap Live. I'm Dan Dunn. Thanks for joining us. Tonight on the show, we're going to be drinking Courage and Stone, company's co-founder, who also happens to be an entertainment industry powerhouse, one of the coolest people I know, Aisha Tyler. She'll be along to join us just a few moments from now. As always, I invite you to check out my podcast, What We're Drinking with Dan Dunn, which Entertainment Weekly described as being like dental surgery for the ears. I think that's good. And that's available everywhere, What We're Drinking with Dan Dunn. As always, we invite you to chime in with your comments and questions. There's a chat box next to the window here. See the chat box? Or is it there? It's there. Is it this way, Pat? That's the way? Yeah, okay. It's that way. And really, just anything you want to get off your chest, gripes, beefs, just observations about life, just comment. And Aisha and I will try to get to that throughout the course of the show. We also do a giveaway every week here on NightCap Live. And this week is no exception. We're going to be giving away a Flaviar membership. Flaviar, of course, is a club that brings together fine spirits enthusiasts from all over. And every quarter, Flaviar sends you samples, provides access to exclusive and highly allocated bottles you won't find anywhere else. Plus, as you can see, this whole thing, we're always working to keep you educated and entertained with booze-themed content. It really is an amazing way to discover new flavors and bond with your friends and family over that sweet, sweet liquor. Oh, liquor. And trust me on this, because I'm not only the Flaviar spokes guy, I'm also a member. In addition to the Flaviar membership, big time, big special, tonight we're going to be giving away a prize from Aisha Tyler herself. She's going to reveal what that is shortly. I don't even know what it is, but I bet it's going to be cool. So we're going to have two winners tonight. So you're asking yourself, how do I win? Well, here's the answer. Aisha is on a show called Archer. We know this. And so the question's inspired by that. Who are the top 5 human-based animated TV series characters of all time? Top 5, all time. Put that in the comments section there. You chime in for a chance to win the Flaviar membership as well as the Aisha Tyler prize. And also, I should tell you this, Lana from Archer is excluded from this. No pandering, okay? No Lana. Unless you do it and Aisha likes it and says, fine. If she chooses you to win, then that's okay. They're her rules, not mine. So before we bring on Aisha, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the elephant in the room. You know, it's the one that keeps taking giant dumps on us. Look, it certainly feels like the universe has it in for us right now, and it may very well be the most challenging era that any of us alive now have experienced. But here's the thing. Throughout human history, there have been countless periods that were way worse than this one. For instance, much of the world went dark for a full 18 months as a mysterious fog rolled over Europe in 536 AD. Turns out it was the result of a volcanic eruption in Iceland, and it helped spread ash across the northern hemisphere, created this fog that blocked out the sun during the day, causing temperatures to drop, crops to fail, people to die. It was, you could say, the literal dark age. And yet, humanity survived. And those people didn't even have cable TV or cell phones. So obviously, we've got a leg up on them. But seriously, yes, things are the shits right now, but if my mother taught me one thing about the shits, it's this. Sure, you got to take them, but then you wipe it all away and you flush it. So here's to the day when we finally get to watch this particular shit go swirling away down the toilet. So who's thirsty? Ready for a cocktail? All right. What's happening next? Oh, this. Okay, yeah. Our guest tonight is the voice of Lana Kane on Archer and the host of Whose Line Is It Anyway? She also voices a character in the Disney Plus series Monsters at Work, which of course is based on film Monsters, Inc. She's a director as well. She's got tons of projects in the works. We'll be talking about those on this show. Oh, and once upon a time, she hosted a show called Talk Soup where she worked alongside a comedy writer that Entertainment Weekly referred to as, quote, who? She's also the co-owner of the Brooklyn-based ready-to-drink cocktail company, Courage and Stone. See it? There it is. She's Aisha Tyler. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
You're thinking, when is Dan ever going to shut up?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I know it's hard for you to concentrate when you're out there sitting in the middle of the road to Marfa. But yeah.
Don't tell people where I am. This isn't purpose. I wanted to get away. But it is kind of the. How did you know that? No joke. This is the road to Marfa.
That felt right. I recognized it.
A sage.
Yes, the tire tracks and the strange alien stripes. Yeah.
Look at you. You've shrunk down. You're a Lilliputian now, and you've got a giant bottle behind you.
I have an enormous bottle.
Amazing.
This is representative of, quite frankly, my need for alcoholic beverages over the recent history. But yeah, got the bottle here. Got the bottle. I'm in my magic library, and I'm super stoked to be talking with you about Courage and Stone and lots of other stuff. I want to say right off the bat, I think you addressed it a little bit, but obviously this is it could feel like a really dissonant time to be doing a happy hour, and I want everybody to know that I'm really grateful to be here with you. That that we're all finding our way through a really unique time in history. And I have found these happy hours to be a really meaningful way to blow off a little bit of steam, to talk with people about stuff that I care about, to have a drink. You know, everybody, however you're engaging, however you're doing your own activism, you got to put your mask on before helping others. So there's nothing wrong with taking an hour out to have a drink and talk about what's going on in the world.
Amen to that. In fact, let's do the universal amen of the drinking class.
I didn't make my drink yet because I wanted to do an on-air demonstration of how to drink Courage and Stone, and also because I just wanted to hear the tinkly sound of ice tumbling into a glass, which is the Pavlovian tingle of shitty freezer ice. I don't have my fancy ice cubes with me today, but I like the bad freezer ice because a part of the way that we developed this product was it's 80 proof. So it's the same proof as straight whiskey, straight spirits. Because most of us, when you get home at night, you're just going to put this in a glass, right? You can keep it refrigerated, which is great. These are thermal labels, so they're not going to degrade if they get wet. You can sink them nice. You can keep them in the fridge or the freezer. The label itself is not going to come apart on you. But most of us are just going to put it on like the ice that our fridge makes. And so at 80 proof, this drink is going to have structure for a long time. It's not going to fall apart on you if it starts to get diluted with ice melt. So
you're going to go with the old-fashioned first.
Old-fashioned first.
So I went with this, which I guess I've screwed up. So let me go old-fashioned. Since I know you like it.
Oh, see, you got your nice ice. Oh man, curses! I did not have access to fancy ice where I am here right now. I'm doing in my giant library, so I had to deal with the.
Hey, by the way, we'll tell the story later, but Aisha has a nickname for me. Let's not go into it now. But I'm trying by the end of the show to have a new nickname. So Can we put Nice Ice as a contender? That's a cool nickname.
How about if I just call you?
Oh, what up, Nice Ice? Come on.
I'm just looking for a testicular analogy for Nice Ice. Now, also, guys, everybody who's shaking their heads and disgusting me because I'm pulling peel from a lemon, because of everything, because of the world as it exists right now, I did not have any oranges today, so I'm just using a lemon peel, which is just mainly for my own aesthetic enjoyment. But yeah, there are no oranges today. But you can serve. You know what's great about cocktails is you can serve them how you like them, my friends. So it's up to you. So cheers.
Cheers.
Ching ching.
Oh, that's delicious.
Thank you. Now, I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of it.
It's such a good. So let's talk about Courage and Stone. Yeah. This is a dream that you've had for a while. I can tell you guys this because there is occasionally that knock when a celebrity comes out with a brand and you're like, oh, did they slap their name on it? Did this? I'm here to tell you, because I know from firsthand experience, that Aisha was super involved in this product. This was her passion. This wasn't somebody came to her and said, hey, you want to do it? She did it. And I remember being at Tales of the Cocktail down in New Orleans. It's one of the biggest cocktail festivals in the world. And I look over and I go, what the hell are you doing here? And she was in a little bitters, checking out this bitters seminar and really just walking around and getting them, trying to figure out what it was she wanted to do. And you spent years doing that, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit how it evolved.
I mean, like whenever they talk about like developing a business venture, the idea is that you really should be looking for a need, not just that is unserved, but potentially a need that you have seen in your own life that's being unmet. And this really came out of like a personal passion for cocktails. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very big spirits enthusiast. I love to drink, and I would travel a lot for work. And you go to, my thing was like, whatever town I'm in, I'm gonna go to like the best bars in that town. I'm gonna check them out. And then you get home, and you'd have like 2 light beers and like an oxidized bottle of Sauvignon Blanc in there, and you just wanted like a real drink. So I bartended when I was in college, and a little bit in my 20s, and so I had like a very rudimentary knowledge of bartending, and I just started like teaching myself, and I amassed a home bar, and I'll post a photo for people who are curious. I'll post my home bar on my Instagram, which was just, years of collecting stuff. I'm a big whiskey lover. I love American and Irish whiskey. So I was collecting stuff. But what I felt was sometimes on a Wednesday night, you don't want to get out your rye glass and make a big sticky mess. You just want a drink like now. And so I started batching cocktails in my kitchen. I would get like the swing top bottles, and I'd make like a batch of Negronis or a batch of Manhattans and just keep them in the fridge so I could pour out a few fingers when I got home. And then I just remember thinking like, this is something I should be able to buy. Because, most people, the people watching here, you guys, you're all enthusiasts yourself. So you probably have a pretty comprehensive collection, or maybe you're like learning about it. But building out a home bar, it's like expensive and it's elaborate. And, every time you think you want to make a new drink, you're like, now I got to get freaking Cinchona, Quinquina. I mean, like stuff that you've never heard of. It's like, you've got to get this kind of absinthe. You've got to get, Coquille Americano. And it becomes like a very kind of, like a granular kind of an arcane passion, which I love, but I wanted to solve that problem for everybody else. If you just want to come home, have a great drink that's of the same caliber that you would get in a bar without having to make a mess and buy a bunch of stuff. And that was how it was born. And I did a lot of research, and I traveled around, and you saw me at Tales. I went to Tales every year. And it was so fun to see you there because it's a convention of bartenders. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to know anybody at this convention. It's going to be so weird. I'm going to be all by myself. And then I just knew so many freaking bartenders. It was just like, what does this say about me that I know like 30 people that are here right now?
It's great to see your position on drinking and all that, how it's evolved over the years, because I remember several times at Talk Soup when I came in drunk and you weren't happy with it. You were like, I don't,
I mean, there's gotta be.
I don't appreciate you being drunk.
Boundaries. Look, it's so funny. Actually, I thought of you, and now that you brought that up, because I had a business meeting a few weeks ago. No. It was before the lockdown, so it was before everything was really happening. And I was like a Wednesday morning, and I came in and I had my sunglasses on, and I said, guys, it's not that I'm an asshole. I'm just so insanely hungover right now. I'm at that age where I just say it. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm like, guys, I went too hard in the paint last night. I will literally empty my wallet if someone brings me a cup of coffee. But everybody's got to live their lives. And I'm a big proponent of quality over quantity. And that's the thing, rather than just coming home and having any drink, I really just want to have a good, proper drink. Like that's really important to me. Like, the day's long and hard, and you should be able to please yourself if you can, and not be putting, garbage in your face, which, I'm also very good at putting garbage in my face occasionally.
People are clearly responding. I've seen a note that I got that said the company's grown 600% over the past 2 months alone.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I knew that this was something that I would buy if I was a layperson, I'm not a layperson, but if I was a consumer. I knew this was something that I wanted for myself. Because when I first started thinking, God, it'd be great to be able to buy this stuff in the store, and I started looking for it, there really wasn't very much available. It's not a new category, because apparently this category existed like back in the 50s, but it died out in the 70s and 80s, and it's making a comeback, which I think is great, because high tide raises all boats. If it's a robust category, your guys are going to have great choices. I'm going to have great choices. But I looked around for stuff like this and I couldn't find it. And I think when we developed this, I took so when I saw you, I think I was just in the beginning of like working on prototypes. And guys, I did an incredible amount of day drinking. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
And some night drinking as well. I vaguely remember it going into the night.
Day drinking, sometimes into the morning drinking, to like find a version of these classics that I loved and that could feel like they were like my own expression of these cocktails. But I think more than any of it, like stuff like this is just about like enhancing your enjoyment of life, right? Like cocktails should be about making your day better, making your meal better, making your time with your friends better. And so that was really what drove me, is I just want to make something awesome that could solve like, certain set of problems for people that they could enjoy. The 200 bottle is a really good flask size bottle. It's a very good pocket sized bottle. It's good if you need to take it, to, I don't know, like a wedding or church or a march. Because you could secret it away in your jacket pocket. And so I was just trying to solve like a bunch of problems. I was just trying to come up with solutions, Years ago, I did a birthday party and I called my friends, and we at a house, like we rented a house. And I said, my friends, like, what do you guys want to drink? And like, everybody wanted to drink something different. I know everybody who's listening has gone through this. Like this buddy likes, IPA. That buddy thinks that people who drink IPAs are assholes. And so you're buying like 1,000 different things. And I was buying things to make cocktails for everybody. And then we took like 2 cases of booze to this house. And when we left, there was still essentially 2 cases of booze at that house. Like everybody had a little bit of everything. And what's great about something like this is you can just buy, a few bottles and you've got your cocktails made in the shade and everybody can just enjoy themselves.
We got a bunch of questions coming in here, Aisha. So, and this will help launch into talking about about Courage and Stone in particular. So Jeffrey Godfrey wrote in and said, I have a group of guys that I hang with. They call themselves the DLL, drink a lot of liquor. Why didn't we have this guy on Talk Soup writing? It would have been better. We might not have been getting
company. You needed company. Yeah, he would have been a good friend of you.
Could have used you, Jeffrey. And I have been telling them about Flaviar during our weekly Zoom call. How smoky is Courage and Stone?
Interesting. So Courage and Stone, both our first 2 expressions, which are the Old Fashioned and the Manhattan, are very classic style. So they're both made with rye whiskey. And so they're not going to be smoky. I mean, when you're talking smoky, you're talking about like, I'm assuming like a traditional Scotch whiskey, which is peated and has a big smoke nose, big smoke palate. There's no smoke in either of these cocktails. The Old Fashioned's got a really citrusy vibe, but there's a lot of cherry and orange in it. It is, like I said, it's 80 proof, and it is not extremely sweet. It's made to hold up to ice melt. It's really made, if you pour it and then you sit down and watch your favorite show, that it's going to be as tasty, by the end of the show as it was at the beginning. That was really my goal. The Manhattan is very chocolatey, very earthy, big Manhattan flavors, a lot of chocolate, light of, I don't want to say smoke, but, like a nice earthy quality, a lot of cherry, a lot of black cherry. But none of the traditional smoke notes that you would be thinking of when you're thinking of a Scotch or a Scottish style whiskey, which is really unique to Scotches. You know what I mean? All the other global whiskeys aren't peated, aren't smoked. So American whiskey's not smoked. Obviously Irish whiskey, very kind of linear palate, very delicious. One of my favorite styles. And Japanese whiskey, also pretty delicate. I'm sure there are some peated Japanese whiskeys, but I've never had any.
Yeah, because half the stuff coming out of Japan wasn't made in Japan. But that's all. New York Times just did a piece. Our buddy Jappy did a piece.
Yeah, I mean the big brands, any of the little, like the colloquial brands. Japanese people, they have they have a very elegant like food way over there, and they have very sensitive palates. And that big smoke thing, I think they think like ruins your palate for food. We all have our feelings about stuff, but yeah, so no smoke in these guys.
Speaking of before we get off the whiskey thing, I should point out, because I'm afraid she'll watch this and be mad at me. This is the 8th anniversary of me. I adopted my dog 8 years ago. This week, 8 years ago. Her name is Bunnahabhain. Mm-hmm. Bunnahabhain is a Scotch from Islay. Okay. When Aisha was talking about these peaty Scotches, Islay is the hub of all the peaty Scotches, and except Bunnahabhain. Bunnahabhain is an unpeated Scotch from Islay. I loved it so much that I came home and I named my then 3-month-old puppy, and now this is the 8th thing. So Buna, I know you're watching. They can only see in 2 dimensions though. So yeah, but anyway, I wanted to bring.
I just love how much you respect and adore your dog, and how delusional you are about her ability to understand what we're talking about right now. But thank you for that.
Hey, you spend 3 months alone in a house with a dog. You'll see the communication level has got. We understand each other now. One other thing I want to say about this, when you did not mention about the flavor profile, is the thing I've encountered over the years with ready to drink, and as they've evolved, and especially early on, is there's a tendency for them to be sweet, cloyingly sweet. This is not. It tastes legit. There's not an artificial sweetness to this.
Well, first of all, for people who don't know, it was also really important to me that the quality of these drinks be of the same caliber that you would get in a premium bar. So there are no stabilizers, no additives, no corn syrup, no nothing artificial. They are Whole Foods compliant. That's always been like my mantra. Like, these have to be something that Whole Foods would accept. Because they have a lot of limitations on what can be in the products that they sell. So it was really important to me that like you get a premium product with premium ingredients. And also it's interesting because for some people, they love a really cloying old fashioned, and for some people they really want it to be like, just essentially whiskey and bitters. And I wanted to find a palate way that like could kind of appeal to both sides. And so I feel like you really get like big whiskey flavor in this. You're going to get like, you're drinking whiskey.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But enough sweetness that as it starts to dilute, which by the way, this is actually stronger than what you would get in a bar, because typically they'll pour something 80 proof. And then once hopefully they're not shaking your old fashioned. If somebody does that, I suggest you flee. But after they've stirred it, it's going to dilute to 70%, sometimes even lower. So at that point, if it's still sweet and it's that dilute, you really have a problem. But this is something that once the ice is melted a little bit, it's going to be that 70% kind of nice, perfect balance of whiskey and sweetness.
Well, you found a good partner on this, right? You were doing this at New York Distilling? New
York Distilling, yeah, it was a long road. So I spent over a year developing prototypes for this line, and then finding another, year finding a VC partner, and then looking for a distillery to partner with was also really difficult. It's a really iconoclastic culture, a lot of big personalities. Finding people that we clicked with, kind of personally wanted to work with, and respected. That was. I mean, like, not like you go in and you're an asshole and you don't respect anybody, but you really want to know that like those guys are stoked to do this with you. And when we ended up at New York Distilling, it was just the best thing ever. They are a real, I know this word gets used a lot, but they are a true craft distillery in the heart of Brooklyn, making extraordinary spirits. They're hands-on guys. It's a small operation. And once we went there and we started talking about how to match my prototypes, I got to drink with Alan Katz, and who was,
a very dapper gentleman too, Alan, isn't he?
Brilliant. One of the great minds in the spirit space. He's an encyclopedia of knowledge about distilling and about spirits, and he's a great guy. And they have a beautiful little bar called the Shanty. It's attached to New York Distilling. So I did a lot of day drinking in there as well, just tasting everything and trying to get it right. And I actually have photos, which I'm happy to post as well, of our first batch, which literally was handcrafted because I mixed that first batch up and bottled it with them. And to kind of look at, I know I sound a little silly, but I almost tear up, like, 4 or 5 years of your life, and you finally get to manifest it. You get to mix that first batch up, and we all tasted it together. And I hadn't tasted the prototypes in a little while, and I was like, man, what if I hate it? And it was just so delicious. It's been a nice experience. Those guys are great. They make all of our base spirits. We do all of our mixing and bottling with them. And I really want now more than ever to be supporting small businesses. Obviously small businesses and I'm a Black-owned business and I work with a small business. And I think, when some of them have taken a hit during what is an incredibly cataclysmic and dynamic time, you want to make sure that we're leaning into supporting neighborhoods, supporting small businesses and supporting individuals. And so it's been a great partnership and I'm really proud of them.
I want to say this right now because maybe Aisha won't say it, but speaking of support, 30% of the profits from online sales of Courage and Stone are being donated to the U.S. Bartenders Guild right now. We're all being hit hard, but everybody, if you're watching this show, I know you appreciate bars, you appreciate going out. and the service industry has been crushed, and the bar industry has been crushed. And these are people that are making, they're living shift to shift. So it's great that you're doing this, Aisha, and so many brands are helping out in that regard. But it's good to know that 30% of this, is going to that, which is great. Hey, we got so many comments, and I invite everybody out there to questions and comments in the. It says so. When I made my notes, it said,
"Are you okay?"
If it's this left, just wherever it is. Questions, comments, and we'll get to them. So let's see. I'm going to go to some right now. Here's one from Amber Blecker, and she said, "As a woman who often receives astonished looks when I order a top shelf bourbon, and this is all in caps, LOVE, seeing Aisha making a full flavored cocktail accessible." Isn't that nice of you to say, Amber Blecker?
I love whiskey so much. It is my go-to beverage. When I went to Ireland 5 years ago, and Ireland is a member of the EU and an international country, and diverse enough. But I got the same look when a Black woman would walk into a pub, and I would get a pint of Guinness and a shot of Tullamore Dew. That was my Irish Boilermaker. I love whiskey. It's what I drink almost exclusively, and I'm not gonna let anybody make me feel weird about it. It's my favorite thing, and I love drinking top shelf whiskeys, and I also love drinking like weird stuff I've never tasted before, and it's such a great tradition, whiskey distilling, and there are so few women in the distilling space. There's so few women master distillers, and I think it's really important for women to drink what they like and to do it unapologetically. And then if you have other people that want to be introduced to the space, to help educate them as well. It's always really fun to learn about new stuff.
Let's cheers to that. I'm just going to drink as much as possible with Aisha here. And also, Amber followed up with a question, said, "Where did you get the name Courage and Stone?"
So I was playing with a take on liquid courage, and I wish we all know what that is, and I wish that I had a sexy answer to this story, but I wanted to call it Courage, and my trademark lawyer was like, "That's it. You cannot trademark a word, but you can trademark two words together." And so I literally came up with like 50 words that I could put with it, and then like focus grouped it with my friends over drinks, and everybody liked this name. And I also felt like it had even though we're a new company, it had the feeling of kind of American provenance. It's an American company based on kind of like self-starting ideals. And so to me, it was something that just felt sexy and representative of like how I see the brand. I hope, that even though this is a new category and a new space for all intents and purposes, that like in a few years, people won't remember a time when they couldn't buy a perfect cocktail from the store and pour it into a glass.
I hope so. By the way, a lot of people are coming in with suggestions for Aisha's nickname for me. And I don't know if this is going to go. So let's see. Kevin Eaches says the Danimal. Now, I can never see you calling me that.
No, yeah, good effort. I appreciate you. E for effort.
Chris Maxwell, Dambledorf.
That's actually pretty good because he's a little grizzled. He has a lot of knowledge and wisdom about drinking.
I don't even know who is that? Who is it about? Like I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Dumbledore.
Oh, that's
yeah. I mean that's I'm assuming. Yeah, Dumbledore. That's a pretty good one.
Ken Katz came in and said happy dog anniversary to Boona. She loves that. Do they come larger than 200 milliliters?
So we launched with the 200s, which was a function of wanting to give people the opportunity to try the product, because we also believe in the portability of this product. We wanted it to be something people could take with them, and we are already like ready to bottle the 750s. We've been waiting for a long time, but then pandemic. So like as soon as we can bottle the 750s, they're going to be on the market. But it was really a thing for people who either had never had a pre-made cocktail before or just wanted the opportunity to sample. You could grab the 200. It's about 3 drinks. Well, it's 1 drink for Dan. It's about 3 drinks for the rest of us. It's 1 drink for me and Dan. It's 3 drinks for the rest of us. And then if you loved it, you could go back to get the larger format. And really, we just got stalled because of COVID. But as soon as we can start up our bottling line again, we will be doing that, and we'll be into the 750s. And we're hoping that's happening, this summer.
Okay. Well, I got to move. Aisha gave away my.
Did you go move down the road in Marfa?
This is actually in. I took this picture. This is in Plains, Texas.
Oh, I love this is when you were on your wine tour, right? When you were driving around.
To the 3 people out there that probably read my book, if you're wondering, that there's a part in the book that involves my brother who passed away, Aisha knew, and there's a very poignant part in the book that involves a homestead, and that's it. That's the homesteader cabin. So there you go, right behind me, and I'll be hiding out there for the rest of the pandemic.
I want to say to people, I have somebody that's just watching right now, and they just texted me to say that some people are having a hard time ordering the product, and it may be because Flaviar sold out. I'm not quite sure, which is great. So thank you everybody who's already bought it. But if you have been trying to purchase specifically the old fashioned and you can't, if it's not letting you do it, email to write and to contact Flaviar directly is NightCap Live, all one word, nightcaplive@flaviar.com. So they're working on it. I think we had a certain amount of the product available on Flaviar, and I think that it just went really quickly. So nightcaplive@flaviar.com.
That's what I like hearing right there. It goes quickly. Brock Malero on Facebook said, will this make it to an episode of Archer? You mean Aisha and I talking? Probably.
Probably.
Would they do that? They're like, what do we need here? You mean, will the Courage and Stone make it to Archer?
One of my real life relationships made it onto the show, and I'm trying to think if anybody else did, but in season, I want to say 3 or 4, in season 3, I had a podcast for 5 years called Girl on Guy. That was a culture, arts and culture podcast, and I was really lucky to interview a lot of really cool people. One of the people that I met and became friends with was Anthony Bourdain. And he was a big Archer fan. And so then that next summer we were at Comic-Con together, and he's like, he had a comic book at Comic-Con. He's like, can I come to the Archer panel? And I was like, yeah. And I introduced him to everybody on the show. And then he ended up doing an episode of Archer. So you never know how your real life is going to bleed into your cartoon life. But so anything is possible. And I love him so much. And I think, I know it feels a little tenuous to connect like Tony and this, but for me, it's fun to start a line, but this was always about something more, just about trying to distill an experience that other people could have, you know what I mean? Because not everybody can go to Please Don't Tell or, Death and Co. or, the aviary, and trying to distill an experience for people so that they can have it at home. And I always felt like Anthony was really good at kind of having these adventures and then distilling them down for people to experience. And God, I loved that guy so much. When he died, I remember, this goes back to bartenders, because I just love bartenders so much. I just love bartender culture. And I lived right down the street of one of my favorite bars in LA. And I was like on the couch, just like wrecked, which like more wrecked than I thought I was going to be. Because we were friends, but we weren't like best friends. It's strange when like you really idolize and admire.
We're best friends.
Well, you and I are the best of friends, Dumbledore. I'm a big fan of you.
No, why did I bring that up? I don't like that name.
Did it to yourself.
Right, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Like someone you really admire, right? A lot, that loss can affect you more than you expect. And I was like, I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. And then I thought, fuck it, I got to get out of here. So I walked up the street to this bar that I love, that is just like one of those bars where all the bartenders are like super cool, like really friendly, talk to you forever. They make great drinks. Like they make really cool drinks, but they're not like douchebags. And I sat down and I just said, I fucking need a drink, man. And all of them were like, us too. And we just sat and drank. Hope none of your kids are watching, guys. We just sat and drank and talked about Tony and what he meant to us. And I think that's like the bigger thing. Like bars, they're not about just the drinking. They're about like the shared, the collective experience.
Yeah, and I miss that the most. And
I miss so much, I miss it.
I had Bourdain on I only met him once, and he was gracious enough to be the the first guest on my previous podcast, Drinky Fun Time, which you were on as well. And I only got to hang with him for a little bit, but the guy just had such a good energy, and he was so fucking smart, man. It was like he was so quick, nimble.
Honest about everything, honest about his frailties, honest about his feelings. He never presented himself as being perfect or knowing everything. He was just like alive, right? Which is what I think we're all trying to get to in our lives, and especially now where we feel so disconnected from people, and there's a lot that's going on that could be really disheartening. It's been really important to me through all of this, and I'm sure you and I talked about it offline, but I've been doing these happy hours on my own that have really been an opportunity, for people to connect with other like-minded people, but B, to provide like a through line to say, like, if you're home and you feel helpless and you don't know what you can do and you want to do something, but you're not sure what it is, and that's kind of keeping you a little stuck, because we've all felt that way, like, you know, shit, like the world is burning down. What do I do? To just try to find a way to connect with people and energize them so they don't feel as hopeless or as disconnected. I really feel like happy hours like this one, and I just did one on Monday to raise money for, you know, a lot of different causes that are focusing on, you know, ameliorating police violence and uplifting communities and, you know, injecting communities with new resources, that coming together in a real bar or a virtual one is a way to remind yourself of your humanity and to try to be a better version of yourself. It's also a good way to, like, I don't know, fall down in a toilet stall and like accidentally get butts. Both of those things are possible.
So I want to remind everybody, and by the way, I realize I screwed this part up, remind you that our contest is to win the Flaviar membership, but is the top 5 human-based cartoon characters of all time that are not Lana Kane. But there's another prize, and we didn't even reveal what that is. You have a prize.
Oh, it's so funny because you know, the world has been so intense. I wanted to have a photo of it, and I have it somewhere on my phone. But we are going to be giving away some one-of-a-kind Archer merchandise that you cannot purchase anywhere. They are collector's items from, and let me pull up the photo so I get this right, because I took a picture of it and then I zipped away. Photos. So one of them is a puzzle, which we could all use because we're still, for all intents and purposes, on lockdown. So one of them is a puzzle, an Archer puzzle, one-of-a-kind Archer puzzle that was commemorating the 100th episode of the show. So that's pretty cool. And I'm just going to find this I'm going to find this photo eventually, guys, but talk amongst yourselves. So that
the puzzle going to be one prize?
One prize.
One prize is the puzzle.
And then, here we go, recently deleted. And then not only that, oh, dude, if I can't find this picture, I'm going to lose my sniz app. Oh, here, I'll look in one other place. I'm like you guys, I'm absolutely technologically proficient, but I've just been having old fashions on an empty
I feel like I've just fallen into a Skype with my mom all of a sudden.
How is it? Wait, I can't see
this thing here.
Can you turn up how does it work? So one of them is here we go. One of them, no, are we giving away, how many prizes are we giving away?
We're giving away the Flaviar membership.
Okay. Is it like top 5 winners or one person?
No, we usually do 1 or 2 winners, but we'll do Flaviar membership separately. We'll do the puzzle separately, the Archer, and you got one more.
Okay. So puzzle for one person. You cannot purchase this puzzle. This is a special commemorative puzzle celebrating 100 episodes of Archer. And then Archer Dreamland box set, episodes 1 through 4. I will sign both of these items, so that will make them even more special to you. How about that?
All right, so we got 3 prizes. Top 5 cartoon characters, human-based characters of all time. Oh, a TV series, by the way. I should also say that. On a TV series, not movie. TV series, cartoon characters, TV series, human. Simpsons do count. I know they're down a finger, but they do count as humans. And then we got stuff coming in here, like all kinds of stuff. We got Michael Wall says, are there any other cocktail mixes in the works? Which, by the way, Michael, you led us to jump in. We've been doing this we got to get into the Manhattan as well. I
chilled my second glass here because I'm a grown lady.
I did.
So I feel very fancy with myself. And we're going to drink the second flavor expression, which is a Manhattan, classic Manhattan, whiskey, vermouth, cherry, chocolate. Luckily, because everything is cold, I just get to pour it in the glass. I mean, this is really like, you're seeing like my vision for this product in action, which is like, I'm going to make you a drink. But
doing it a different way,
because I'm a fancy broad, I'm going to put some cherries in this one. I like to zhuzh it up when I can.
I got cherries. You know what? You talk. I'm going to go get my cherries.
Cherries. Go walk into that shanty.
Yep, you keep going.
And I'm going to put my cherry in here. It's so funny. Since I can't hear what anybody's saying or thinking, I'm just going to ramble on and talk about this. So that Manhattan classic style, classic expression, but I wanted something that had like a nice kind of richness to it. So it's got a lot of chocolate.
You know what's weird about this? We got the homesteader cabin and a refrigerator, and that's all that's out here. Yeah.
America is a mysterious and wonderful place.
Cherries. I got a cherry. See?
Oh, very nice. Look at you. The Amarantha's. Here we go. Cheers, good friend.
Ching.
Ching, ching. Oh, I disappeared completely. The technology is confusing.
Oh, so Michael Wall wants to know, are there any other cocktail mixes in the works?
Yes. So we're working on quite a few, and we really wanted to test the waters with two of the best and most loved cocktails out there, which is why we started with the Old Fashioned and Manhattan, and also because they're very divergent profiles. The next one is going to be a gin Old Fashioned, which is like a daytime drink. It's good. It's a good brunch drink. And one of the reasons that we wanted to, so I had a gin Old Fashioned years ago and just became obsessed with this cocktail because I love gin. I love gin, and I mean I love a gin martini, but I love a gin martini because the vodka martini is just a glass of vodka, guys. Let's just make sure we're clear on that as a team. But I love gin, and I had this gin Old Fashioned years ago in Vancouver and just became like obsessed with this drink. And then I learned a little bit more about the Old Fashioned, and I'm sure you guys all know this because you guys are all big spirits enthusiasts watching and listening. But the Old Fashioned is a style, but not a spirit. Not a spirit way, not a specific spirit. So the Old Fashioned style of cocktail is a spirit and bitters and a sweetener of some kind. And so there are lots of, the brandy Old Fashions were very common around the turn of the century, before and after the Prohibition. But it was so gin, any kind of whiskey. That's also where the rock and rye drink comes from, because essentially, spirits back then were pretty harsh. Also, people didn't drink water, so they were perpetually hungover. And so you would have a little bit of, sweetener in your whiskey or your spirit to soften it a little bit. So you can make an Old Fashioned with any spirit except for vodka. Thank you for coming along with me. So the next one's gin Old Fashioned, beautiful grapefruit notes, bright, really not sweet on the palate, but like a really bright, fun, refreshing.
When's that coming out?
So so we're just in the middle of finalizing that formula now, and then as soon as we could start bottling.
Okay.
Process, because guys, you can't just make booze and sell it. You've got to go through all these approvals with the government, and yeah.
Hey, Brett Marquardt comment here says, so great to see an actress I admire so much be so open and knowledgeable and into whiskey.
Oh, so nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Daniel Garcia said, any chance for low sugar mixes? Let me take this one, Aisha. Daniel, no. No.
So sorry, Daniel.
Eat the calories and have your drink.
I support you in your dreams and your dietary needs, but this specific line of cocktails, because we are a premium line, we're never going to put in artificial sweeteners, artificial stabilizers. Sugar and sugar syrups, right? So like organic sugar syrup, anything that's based on like pure sugar, which was all we'll ever use. They give some mouthfeel to the drink. They give body to the drink. It's not just the sweetness. They give a shape to a cocktail that makes it feel good in your mouth. And once you go with the artificial sweeteners, then you've got to add other things to give that same mouthfeel with a low sugar product. So we'll never be doing it, but I'm rooting for you, and I want you to live your life the best way you can. You could also just have one of these and then switch to something lighter afterwards.
You could drink Courage and Stone and eat carrots.
You could do that. Have a big salad. Oh, look at that background. That's so cute.
Oh, look at that background. Talk soon. Man, the good old days.
Good old days.
So, as I talked about in the intro, Aisha was the host of Talk Soup. I was a writer on Talk Soup, and the joyous times they were.
Basically went.
They were fun though. We had a great time. And
actually, you know what? I thought we had a really good time on that show. We were one of those shows that it had been a cult hit for a long time. And quite frankly, we got to chug along on our own for quite a bit of time, right? With like not a lot of corporate oversight, not a lot of people paying attention to us, because we were just like the little kind of like that little silly green screen show. And then we had a couple of moments where all of a sudden the brass started paying attention to us, and then things quickly went downhill.
I think we have a clip. Thad, do we have some sort of a clip? Thad, you there? Can you roll that clip and then tell me when it's done?
I'm getting all hot now.
Are you? Because I'm telling you, we love food. Was it the appropriate thing to yell at that clip?
Still on or not.
But for all you guys out there who can't kiss, there is hope. Renowned French ladies' man Jacques Lefranchi's School of Kissing.
No,
No.
Kiss me.
No.
Kiss me. Kiss
No.
me, you fool.
No,
Kiss
please,
me.
no.
Kiss me. Make love to
No,
my hand.
no.
Work the tongue. Work
No.
the tongue.
And look at that. Wasn't that funny thing that we didn't see?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
We have no idea what happened.
No, I believe that clip was. I like this. I've always wanted to do this. You get to do this, go on the talk show and act like you don't know what the clip is. Oh, I believe this one is. So I believe that was the clip of the School of French Kissing.
Oh my God.
Remember that? Yeah, I was Frenchy.
No, I want to tell you, I remember very little in general as a human being, but and I was starting to worry about it because I'm getting older, as we all are, because that's how science works. And I'm like, is it that I'm getting older that I can't remember stuff? But I've just never been able to remember anything. I'm like a big hugs, pints at the bar, let's sing a song kind of person, but like dates and places and names, I just can't. So I remember like the people that I worked with there and the feeling of making that show and how fun it was and how reckless and not in a bad way, but just how much, like, I just remember like we'd get to the show, we'd write the show, and then the next morning we'd come in and something would have happened on the news or someone would have pitched an idea. And then we'd be like, wouldn't it be funny if, somebody ran through set with a sandwich in their hand? And then we would just do that. And that was what was great about that show, was just a feeling of kind of like pure creation. And, we weren't making Westworld, but we just got to have a good time.
It wasn't being overly analyzed by anyone in terms of, and there's a real freedom to that, which I think was sort of a precursor to what would come now with the podcast universe and things like that, where the rules aren't very rigid. And at Talk Soup, there weren't many rules until we made the one mistake that we made.
Well, we made a bad joke. We made a good joke.
By the way, I'm just throwing this up because I'm hoping this could be a new nickname. Okay, so this was the nickname.
You want me to call you Bicycle Chain?
Well,
terrible nickname.
This is what happened. I went somewhere tropical. I was young. I was a kid. I was like young. I was, so I went a tropical place, and somebody, I don't know if I bought it or someone, let's say someone gave it to me. I didn't purchase it. And I got a puka shell necklace. I'm sorry, but it was a long time ago. It was 20 years ago. So I got the puka shell necklace and I made it. I wore it to work. And we were sitting in the writer's room and Aisha came in and we start talking. And in the middle of it, she just stopped and went, wait a minute. What the hell is that? And I was like, what? I thought I looked good. And she's like, is that a puka? I've never worn the friggin' thing again, right? I was sort of like, yeah.
I named them. I'm sorry.
Oh, what an embarrassing moment. I got called out from the and she's like, Puka Dan. And unfortunately, it was not the end of it. Then Aisha was on the air one time and I had a reputation for writing some of the off-color jokes. And then Aisha would come out of the thing and say, who wrote that joke? And she goes, who wrote that? Was that Puka Dan? I'm like, oh no. And then my mom's calling me and she's like, what's a puka? What's that? And I'm like, oh, no.
And I think this is really important to point out. I was raised by a single father, and all my friends growing up were guys. Like my best friend from 8th grade was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. Like I've always been around guys. And we always joke about the fact that like we talk shit to show you that we like you. Like if I'm not making fun of you, it's because I'm not paying attention to you. And so I don't like you at all. So the more shit I talk about you, the more I like you. That is how I show affection. I imagine at the time I just seemed like a total asshole, but I want you to know it came from a good place. But his nickname has been Puka Dan for a very long time.
Oh man. And well, you know what? One day
His necklace was holding on for an inch of his life. His neck was bulging out on you could see his veins throbbing. Like, just please get my brain oxygen before this man passes out. He was like, this guy. It was like Spicoli, but without this subsequent, marriage to Madonna.
So we got a question here from Scott Foster. He said, Aisha, I guess he worked on The Wire when you shadowed Ernest Dickerson.
Oh yeah.
Directing your future, yes, and still acting, I think both, right? So let's talk about what you got going on director-wise.
Absolutely. First of all, that's so great. Thanks for bringing that up. That was such a good experience for me. I love Ernest so much. We did a couple of projects together, and I respected him. And I felt so fortunate to be shadowing on The Wire at the time when like it was The Wire. You know what I mean? Like I came on, I think it was season 4. And I feel like it was season 4. And it was just a transformative experience, and it became a part of a longer experience that led to me directing now. So I have directed 7 short films. My first feature Access came out in 2016. I am working on a second feature right now that we're trying to find a way to shoot inside the constraints of COVID and everything that's going on in the world, just trying to be respectful of where we are kind of nationally and globally. But I think we have a really good plan for how to make a movie in this time. And I'm also directing television. So I've directed a couple episodes of Criminal Minds before that show went to sleep. I just directed an episode of Roswell, New Mexico, which aired a few weeks ago, March. Sorry, not a few weeks ago, in March. We all, time has become very fluid, obviously, for all of us. And I'll be going back in season 2, and also just trying as an artist, not just to advance my own creative goals, but to try to make a space for other people to advance their creative goals. Because obviously, there's not a lot of diversity behind the camera in Hollywood. It's getting better, but it's not great. But what I really want, other than kind of being able to make good art with good, smart people, is to be able to be the kind of artist that when someone else is trying to forge a path, they have someone that they can look at and see, okay, well, she's done it, so I can do it too. Because it's not just enough to be, like a woman of color, behind the camera, but I also want to be the kind of iconoclastic artist that people won't say to them, well, Black people only make this kind of movie, or women only make this kind of movie, or no one's ever done that before. But to try to create a space for all the little Latino kids that love heavy metal, or the Black girls that skateboard, or the gay kids that love punk rock, that there's a space for you in this business, and that your stories don't just matter, but they're critical. Because I think you guys have noticed, and I love what I do, and I'm super lucky to do it, but we kind of keep making a lot of the same stuff over and over again. And diversity is not just about being fair. It's not just about numbers or quotas. It's about the fact that new perspectives and new experiences bring great stories, surprising, delightful stories. And what we want is to have the kind of stories that transform people's lives and delight them and excite them and remind us of our humanity again, and make the world a better place. So I'm trying to be the kind of artist that can create a space for other artists. I've been doing a lot of music videos too. I just did a new one that's going to come out in a couple of weeks, because we're also trying to kind of empower young artists that are making things in the margins, right? And I love Steven Soderbergh, who I know has also been a guest here. And I admire him so much because, he's really rejected the whole Hollywood structure. He's been making movies on his own. And he made this movie called High Flying Bird that you guys might have seen on Netflix. And he shot that whole thing on iPhone 10s and cut it on his laptop computer. And I think he just showed that you don't need a big Hollywood establishment to tell important stories. And so that's kind of the space I'm living in right now, is just trying to create a digital space where people can, make their dreams come true.
You're doing something with your buddy Stephen Amell as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So we just did a short form online series called Speech and Debate that is about 2 high school debate counselors who are absolute assholes. And just they're both trying to destroy the other one. And we made the first one before the lockdown, and then we made the other 2 inside quarantine, using best quarantine practices and showing that you can still make, great, funny, delightful television inside these constraints. So the second episode, they're actually going to be teasing it at the ATX Festival, which is going to be a digital festival. It's going on now over the weekend, and the director, Cassandra Amell, is going to be talking about it online at the ATX. So if you guys want to go on, I'm just going to guess it's atx.com, guys. I didn't look it up, but you know what? Google will do for you everything. So it's going to be teased at ATX. You can see the first episode online right now, Speech and Debate, on all of our social channels, and it's posted on Stephen Amell's IGTV. And it was just a shot to make something fun with our friends. I mean, Stephen and I are both typically on different series, and it was fun to come together with them.
On Arrow, by the way, for people that, yeah.
I stopped Arrow. He's getting ready to do a new show whenever we can make TV again, called Heels, with Alexander Ludwig about professional wrestlers. But it doesn't always have to be a fancy Hollywood thing. It could just be, like you said, it's the podcast culture. It's the let's just make something cool, and try to make something that feels honest and true. And that's pretty much what I'm up to most of the time.
I want to remind everybody our contest is we're going to be giving very, very soon. We're giving away a Flaviar membership, an Archer puzzle that you cannot get anywhere else, signed by Aisha. And what else?
Season Archer Dreamland, which I believe is season 8. I want to say it's season 8.
Google it. and she's going to sign that as well. So we got 3 prizes, and the way to win is put in your top 5 human-based cartoon characters from a series that is not Lana Kane. Unless you want to try that, maybe. You know what? We've been drinking.
We really have been drinking, and she is spectacular. So I'm not going to fight you on that.
Rob from Facebook wants to know what is coming up this season on Archer. Does anyone get killed off? Oh, let me reveal that. What gets killed off? Aisha's career when she says it right now.
I respect you because you tried it. So here's what we know, and it's not very much. Archer wakes up, and him coming back into the fold is going to create all kinds of new and dynamic interactions. It's been, man, guys, I'm sure everybody feels this way, but I just love Archer so much. When they offered me that show, I just remember reading. I was a huge C-Lab 2020 fan, and in fact, do you remember when we were doing Talk Soup? Like Space Ghost Coast to Coast was a big show, and I think C-Lab was before Frisky Dingo, but I loved C-Lab 2021. It was just so funny and weird, and so I was a big fan of these guys. And then they were like, the C-Lab guys had this new show, and I was like, okay. I read the script. It was so funny. It was so smart. I was like, this show is never making it on the air. But I'm stoked because I'll do the pilot and I'll get to go meet the C-Lab guys. That was all. I was like, I'm going to fly to Atlanta, meet the C-Lab guys, have a beer. And I just remember when it got picked up that like Adam Reed and I were both like, it wasn't that we didn't believe in it. We believed in it deeply. We just thought it was too good. Like just too good for TV. And the fact that we're making season 11 right now is like so wonderful. So that's a very long way of saying I fucking love Archer so much. I'm so happy that it found an audience. I'm so happy that people are so devoted to it because it is a special show. And I love the cast. And we did a live stream a while ago. If you guys want to see us read an episode of Archer, it's on my YouTube channel. There's a bottle episode that we did a couple of years ago where we're all stuck in an elevator, and we just read that live on Zoom. So if you want to go check that out, I've been trying to do these live Zooms to raise money for charity. So it's focused around a COVID charity, but you can see us all, you can see us essentially like get really confused about technology, and then Judy disappear for a while, and then John wander off. It's a good time. But I love Archer. I'm really, really happy that I've been able to be a part of it for as long as I have. That being said, I can't tell you shit about this season.
Nobody dies.
Other than it's awesome. It's really, really funny. I'm really proud of it. The show has always been very erudite, very thoughtful, and this season is no exception. It's really, really funny.
All right, let's do this, AT. That's what I call Aisha.
A lot of text that Archer Dreamland is 8, not 7. So season 8, episodes 1 through 4 is what we'll be giving away, not season 7. 8.
So let's start to get. We'll go to a couple of these contest entries, and we'll see if we can eliminate some, and maybe we'll put some in the file of maybes. So Chris Maxwell says Fred Flintstone. Can't go wrong with Fred Flintstone.
It's a classic.
I mean, the guy. What was amazing about Fred Flintstone was he was so out of shape, but yet he had the, he was so, like, how did he not? He must have
just like ate like brontosaurus burgers, never exercised, clearly never showered or changed his clothes, but somehow had that like tensile foot strength, right? To just like
get the car to work. Fred Flintstone, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, also a good one. Inspector Gadget, Maggie Simpson. Love Maggie Simpson. And this is, thank God Aisha's a geek, because a lot of these I'm not going to know. Ahsoka Tano?
Oh, God, that seems like an anime vibe. And I love anime, but I'm not encyclopedic in that space, so I cannot help you with that.
Fritz, you've been eliminated.
That's like Cowboy Bebop vibe? I don't know.
Kevin Eaches says Charlie Brown, Fred Flintstone, Popeye, Shaggy, and Betty Boop.
Love you, bye.
All right, done.
I mean, those are all classics. Those are all classics. I love you.
Avery says Bob from Bob's Burgers, Fry from Futurama, April O'Neil from Ninja Turtles, Cartman from South Park. Come on, Cartman, and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. All right, let's put that one. CC Avery, Keith, can you put that into the maybe file? The contender. It's a contender. Amber Blecker's back. I missed you, Amber. Amber's the one that like sucked up to you and said nice things. So now I see your game, Blecker. I see your game now, trying to win this. Okay, Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson, Marge Simpson, no, kidding. Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson, Charlie Brown, Fred Flintstone, and Popeye. My personal opinion, there's not nary a woman on that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, gotta go. Ken Katz,
Good effort.
Homer Simpson, Tick the Tick.
Oh man, The Tick was a great show.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily saying that we're giving you the crown, but The Tick was not on my list, and The Tick was a great show. And then when they try to do it live, and no disrespect to everybody who did that as a live action show, but the animated Tick was a very, very good show, and I'm just giving you my verbal support.
Oh, but he's out now because unfortunately for Ken Katz, I think he answered before I qualified it that it needed to be a TV show because he also included the guy from Up, Carl Fredrickson from Up.
Yeah.
You know what? I would throw that out though, because what I feel like you're trying to do there, Ken, I'm onto your game too, is you're trying to tug at my heartstrings because Up was,
manipulative. Oh man.
And maybe you don't know Aisha and I were cold-blooded.
Frame of that movie, and you were a puddle by the end every single time. It's oh god, thinking about it, I'm gonna start crying, man. That's such a great movie.
That shit won't work here.
Oh god, also WALL-E. I just watched WALL-E the other day. I don't know why, but like someone mentioned WALL-E, and I was like, WALL-E. I'm gonna watch WALL-E again, and I was like, this movie holds up perfectly.
It does.
There's a through line about fat shaming in the movie that we could probably like let die, but as a film, as an emotional film, especially everything that's going on in the world now and everything with the environment, it's like a perfect movie. So like, I'm not advocating for movies in this thing, but everyone should just go watch WALL-E after this. Everyone should go drink and watch WALL-E.
After this, Aisha's gonna watch WALL-E after this. I
love it.
I think she is. Will Johnson says Peter Griffin, Lois Griffin, Bart Simpson, Hank Hill, and Archer. Oh,
absolutely. And I Hank Hill. Sure. I mean, I think we need to look for diversity in source material.
Yeah,
I'm looking for someone with like
maybe
5 different characters from 5 different shows.
Let me find some that have some maybe in here. Let's have some.
Yeah, and then Dan and I are going to argue for a robust 3 minutes about our lists.
All right. So I do like this. Leanne T says Charlie Brown. You got to love Charlie Brown. I mean, the guy was tenacious. Kept trying to kick the foot.
He was so emotionally complex, right? Like the kid was depressed. He had depression. And he would go to Linus and they would have these existential conversations about like what life means, what Christmas means, and and about expectations being dashed and when's the great pumpkin going to show up. And yes, you get an A+ for Charlie Brown. Absolutely.
And Popeye. Yeah.
I watched a lot of Popeye, but my mom, I had to watch it in secret because my mom felt that that show glorified violence. I mean, it also glorified vegetarianism, but it mainly glorified violence.
So even spinach was
Pluto was, guys, just put it out there. Pluto was kind of rapey.
Yeah. All right. Cartman.
I want to send this happy hour into the garbage, but I have been drinking, and we're just gonna say it. Pluto was a creep.
You know what? You can say whatever you want.
He was the Harvey Weinstein of his day.
One of the other things Aisha mentioned that Steven Soderbergh was on the show. Was that last week? God, you're right about time. It was last week. It feels like it was a year ago, but and Aisha and I have vowed that we're going to beat. Soderbergh was our longest episode. We're going to beat that shit tonight.
Oh,
you're better than him, Aisha.
Don't you challenge me. I will ruin all of you.
Mr. Magoo and Beavis and Butthead. Oh.
That's a very divergent set of.
That was Leanne T. We'll put her in the maybe.
Oh, I'll go with Beavis and Butthead, but I can't endorse Mr. Magoo.
Okay, let me find some that are.
We're tyrants, Dan.
Yeah, we're assholes. You picked the wrong guys.
You really did.
Okay, wait. Bunkerick, G.I. Joe. Was G.I. Joe a cartoon?
It was. When
Joe.
we were kids. It was a Saturday morning cartoon when you and I were children. I remember it. A real American hero, G.I. Joe there. Sorry about the copyrighted material, guys.
Wonder Woman and Superman, and here's the problem, Bunkerick. You were doing so well, but I said human-based characters, and everybody knows Superman.
You tugged at my heartstrings because I'm a big DCU person. So like, thanks for bringing the DC magic, but like, no,
Superman's not human. Renee Rivas says Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers. Philip J. Fry, Futurama. Hank Hill, King of the Hill. Rick Sanchez, Rick and Morty. And Steve Smith, American Dad.
I gotta tell you that. Let's put that in the standby column. That's
It says that goes in. All right, you're on. Musashi Streeb, Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
You know it? Okay. Philip J. Fry. Oh, Finn the Human. Whoa.
Samurai Jack. I like the deep cuts that are coming through right now. I like it.
Archer and Vincent, 3 kids in a trench coat from BoJack.
Okay. It was interesting. I almost put BoJack Horseman on my list. So as a show, I'll endorse.
Okay, so that's going in there.
Mhm.
What else we got? Salvador Villardo, John from Garfield, Calvin's dad. That's not a friggin' cartoon, Calvin and Hobbes.
Because I was like, if it was going to be Calvin and Hobbes, if it could just be like a strip.
Yeah, of course.
Along with Peanuts, Calvin and Hobbes, and Boondocks are the 3 greatest strips of all time. And what was the one with the cat? What was that one with the cat?
Let me test your geekiness then with Calvin and Hobbes. What's the last thing Calvin ever says in the strip?
Oh, God, I couldn't even begin. I don't know how I got to my computer today. But I do know.
The last thing he says, Aisha, they're on the
box. Are they in the box?
On the sled, and he says, "Let's go exploring."
Oh, don't do that to me right now. I want to start drinking alcohol. Oh, come on.
Sorry. Okay, here we go. Bill B says, Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, Fred Flintstone, Eric Cartman, and Goku. Who is this? Goku is in Star Wars. Star Wars.
I don't have a way of evaluating that because I don't remember that character. I was going to say on the strip front, what was that really great strip that would have been out when we were like in our 20s, and it had the 2 little gay characters that wore the fezzes, and then it had it wasn't Bill the cat though. Do you remember those 2 characters? It was
Gilbert?
Kidding.
No,
I'll Google it while you're reading things because or maybe people in the group in the chat.
Anybody knows? Comment on that. Oh, by the way, Michael Wall says his fiance says Lana is the glue of Archer.
You know what? Thank you for that. I love her. She's smart. She's competent. She's a little wild. She's so much cooler than I am, and she's so fun to play. But then also like. So you guys know, I'm sure you know this, they've brought some of my life and my mannerisms into the show. And I don't know if you remember the episode where Lana goes home to her parents' house in San Francisco, and then they show like a picture of a baby Lana, and she's won the science fair.
Okay.
That is an actual picture of me from when I got a science fair prize when I was in the 8th grade. And it was just great. Like, it was just, I love that she has a real like diverse backstory, and I don't mean diverse like ethnically diverse, but just like it's complex and her life is interesting, and she's not just like a drawing. And Adam and Matt and Casey and everybody over there really have given her like a real interesting life, and she's so cool. She's a really really cool lady. I would love to be her. I'll never dress like her, so don't ask, but I would love to be her.
Is there going to be, since it's inspired by some of the things you do in real life, is there going to be an episode of Archer where she walks into the writer's room and humiliates someone and he can never live it down?
About their necklace?
20 years
about their
revenge?
He will never live this down. It is the coldest bowl of vengeance that anyone will ever see. But as I said, I only insult you if I see you. If I don't see you, then I don't insult you. And I also feel, and I know people are watching have these kinds of friends where it just like talking shit just becomes a sport. And we're just like, that's the tradition that I come from. Is talking shit about my friends and keeping everybody honest. And I can take as good as I can give, absolutely. And I'm happy to make fun of myself. I mean, I've never been so ridiculous as to wear a puka shell, but I have done millions of ridiculous things. So many that thank God most of them happened before the advent of the cell phone camera. Like, thank God I'm old. And all my worst behavior happened before people had cameras.
Somebody wrote in it, Aisha, and said, Secret Squirrel wears the fez.
Oh, no. So thank you for that and great pitch. But I just got a text from my friend, Life in Hell. Do you remember Life in Hell? That was Matt Groening before he did The Simpsons.
Yes.
The best. Oh, my God. Yes. Completely worth going back to. So smart, so elegant, so complex, so cool. Oh, Life in Hell. So great.
I think I got one of our winners. I think one of our winners just chimed in. How do I know this? Because I know this. Okay. Leslie Newman wrote in, her submissions are Eliza Maza, Miss Fizzle, Lois Griffin, Gaz from Invader Zim, and Daria Morgendorfer.
Nice. I want to tell you something. I like your deep cuts, and I see you and I respect you. We should absolutely put that in the pause column because that was very well done.
Right, and nice.
Well done. You want to have a couple of people on the same list, so that's good.
Okay.
Do you and I want to do our lists?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Okay. I want to say I'm pissed that I'm not as cool as I thought I was because some people came in with some hardcore deep cuts, but I have Cartman from South Park, Daria from Daria.
Okay.
On Flux, and it wasn't a long series, but there had never been a series like that on TV, and she was so cool. And then she was played by Charlize Theron, who was my girlfriend in my dreams. So Eon Flux, Lisa Simpson, because she's the white Aisha Tyler for sure, and Riley Freeman from Boondocks.
Okay. So I had 10 on my list, and so I'll bring it down.
And then 10. Calvin and Hobbes, even though it's not on, just because Calvin and Hobbes. I had a cat and Hobbes when I was younger. I loved Calvin and Hobbes so much.
The funniest thing is, as I'm taking my 10, I'm trying to pare it down to 5. I'm actually doing it as if how could I win?
You know what? I like that energy from you, Dad. I like your motivation.
I'm still could I win this thing?
I have the tiger, man. I have the tiger.
It hasn't been established that the host can't win. No one said that. All right, so I'm going to go with this one. No one mentioned, but I loved her from a very young age. Josie McCoy of Josie and the Pussycats.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Cartman. I got to throw Cartman in there. I got to throw Mr. Magoo in, man. Mr. Magoo.
Get this at all. I do not see it. I do not get it.
Mr. Magoo couldn't see, yet he just managed to
Also, it was making fun of blind people. He only ever said a couple words at one time. He was always just kind of walking into stuff. I mean, it's like my Uncle Earl. He's fine. No one dislikes him.
All right. Fine.
You have 10. You know what? I'm going to give you a mulligan. Throw him off and.
All right, Mr. Magoo's out clearly. Fat Albert? Oh, no, sorry.
Well, you know what? Look, I will say for the record, I grew up on those shows. I woke up on Saturday without an alarm when I was a kid to watch Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. I know it's controversial now, and I will never watch Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids again. But at the time, that was a very bright light in my life. There weren't any comics with Black characters, and it wasn't just one Black character. It was a whole collection of them. And remember Mushmouth? There was Mushmouth, and the guy with
the dude that had the hat on, the king down
here, and the one cat like, man, you like school in the summertime, no class. Who loved Fat Albert as a show?
I loved hey hey hey, it's fat, and that beginning song, you'd be like, yes.
He was body positive.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Cosby is nothing but a disappointment to all of us right now, but at the time, that was a great show. So I will give it to you.
By the way, I just had a talk soup moment where the most terrible joke in the world came in my head, but in this, you've seen I've evolved. I didn't say it.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Boy.
I went, I have a great joke.
That's our kid.
It's a bartender joke. I'll just say that. All right. So yeah. Now, here's one for mine that I did not include on the list that I sent you, but I forgot about him. Pigpen. Pigpen from Peanut.
It's a great concept, right? Pigpen. But do you remember that Pigpen almost never spoke? He just made it. So much, guys, much like your first roommate out of college who left dishes in the sink, was never around, and drank up all your milk, Pigpen just made a mess and never spoke.
That's like me. Oh, by the way, the character, somebody wrote in and said the character you're talking about is Dumb Donald. Dumb Donald.
Dumb Donald. Oh, the guy with, you win as soon as sometime. He had so many great jokes that I literally want to look them all up. While you are reading your list, I'm going to find another Dumb Donald joke because I want to tell it.
Donald. And then do I have one more? Oh, Afro Samurai.
Afro Samurai, absolutely. Great. One of the greatest shows of all time. And that is a very nice deep cut. That's one of those shows that not enough people have seen, but then when they watch it, oh my God, have you seen this show? Visually beautiful, conceptually beautiful,
Keith,
high end. What's that?
Keith, I might win.
Can't win, Dan. You're just employees and the families are disqualified from winning this contest. But
could I could I get a consolation prize? You could send me some more Courage and Stone.
You know what?
No, I'm buying it. 30%.
I'm going to keep you in Courage and Stone for the rest of your adult life. I need another Dumb Donald joke. So I'm just like waiting.
While you're doing that, Keith, can you please send me the five finalists for the 3 prizes?
Yeah.
And by the way, if any of you that I said that you're paying attention, I'm sure you are. If I said you're in the running, if you're a giant Archer fan, quickly write those guys and say, I'm a giant Archer fan. If you're a giant drinking fan, also say that, because we got to decide who gets the Flaviar membership, which is amazing, and then who gets the Archer stuff, equally amazing. And yeah. And by the way, we're almost there, AT. We're almost.
I want to point out that I'm going down a Fat Albert rabbit hole right now, because there is a wiki, a full wiki for Fat Albert, not like a comic book wiki or a cartoon wiki or a Saturday morning cartoons wiki, but a Fat Albert wiki, full wiki that names all of the members of the Junkyard Gang. And their name, I'm not even going to ask you guys what their names are, because like, why would I do that to you? But let me tell you what their names are: Fat Albert, Stinger, Weird Simmons, Mudfoot Brown, Pee Wee, Fernando on the trumpet, Tweeterbell, Margene, Miss Witcher, Dumb Donald, Russell Cosby, and then Mushmouth Mush, Bucky Miller, Rudy Davis, and our fallen angel, Bill Cosby. So I'm looking for I really just want to know about Dumb Donald here. I'm going to like search the
Dumb Donald. And I'm going to remind everybody that's out there, go make sure you subscribe and hit the bell there on the page. We'll let you know about our upcoming shows. I think
Dumb Donald was the guy with the hat, but he wasn't the guy who told the jokes.
Okay.
Who told the jokes? He was a little guy, right? The guy that told all the jokes. No class. That guy. Guys, I'm not an impressionist, so like save your comments for your mom.
So yes, subscribe, hit the bell. Next week, who's our guest next week? I don't even know. I think Ian, tell me who that is, please. I think I know who it is, our guest next week. But Aisha, I don't want this to end. I want to just.
Well, here's what I want to say to everybody watching. First of all, thank you for being here. This is really a passion project of mine, and I'm thrilled to finally be sharing it with people. I'm thrilled because I'm proud of it, but also because I feel like it serves a purpose. It serves a purpose that I thought I had in my life, and I hope it serves a purpose in your life. But also for me, I'm lucky that I'm able to do the job that I have. I'm lucky that I've been able to work with people like Dan, and that for the most part, my job is very joyful. We're going through a really tough time as a country, and I'm not going to tell everybody how to feel on this thing. What I am going to say is, if you're feeling anxious or afraid or dissociated, that there are resources out there for you. The internet right now is filled with ways that you can help and give back. And I just did a happy hour on Monday that was really focused on how people could give back. If you are engaged with the movement and you want to give to Black Lives Matter, or you want to go give to the Equal Justice Institute or the ACLU, or Initiative Zero, like there are all these things you can do. But maybe all you can do is go down to your local businesses and bring them donuts and coffee and help them with their cleanup. I'm very hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful about where we are. My mom was a freedom rider and a member of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and she demonstrated and she marched and she put her body on the line for social justice, before I was ever born. I have so much respect for her, and I have so much respect for everybody that's out there marching right now. That's not going to be everybody's path. Not everybody's going to want to do that. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. But I believe in the perfectibility of this country. We are not perfect, but we can be perfect. And the way that we do that is that we support each other, we hold each other accountable, and we put our money where our mouths are. Our money where our mouths are. And so if you are feeling anxious or scared or dissociated, please reach out to friends. You can look at any of my socials. I've been posting a lot of resources for how to get involved, and they don't all have to be, like I said, getting out on the front lines. There are a lot of ways that you can help. And I encourage you to get engaged and stay engaged, because man, are we flawed. Man, do we have a lot of flaws. But there is no country with a greater capacity for greatness than the United States. And I'm excited for what we do next. And I want to make sure that I raise a glass to that specifically. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to democracy and the perfectibility of democracy.
By the way, just got a message from Rudy Davis. He said, it's me that said no class on Fat Albert. That's his name, Rudy Davis. Rudy Davis. So just letting you know, because there isn't any serious moment that I can't kill right away.
You can destroy it all. You can destroy it all.
Could that be my
There were
nickname?
trumpets. There was a flag waving, Dan. You missed the flag, and then you just.
Can that be my nickname? Could I be like the sincerity killer?
You can be Mushmouth.
I'll be. No, I prefer Puka Dan. You know what? And I know that deep down inside, I kind of like Puka Dan.
I have known you for a very long time. You know that I love you. You know that it's been so fun for our paths to converge and then split and then converge again. It's so fun to be living in this space with you now. And I think we have a lot of the same goals and aspirations, and we're living in the same space, and that's wonderful. And life is a mystery. It's just super cool when people that you've been friends with, that you get to do stuff like this with them again. So thank you for doing this with me. And you
know what it's time now for? Winners. Okay, here we go.
Winners.
All right, so here are the contenders. One more time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, before we do that, Brian Simpson on Facebook said, Aisha, can you please give us Alana? Nope. There you go. See, we aim to please here. All right, so we got our contenders. We got 5, and of those, 3 are going to win. So
we're going to read them back and then decide. I want you guys to know that whether win or lose, use all my babies. So here we go.
You're all winners except for the 2 that don't get anything. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. The contenders. Okay, first was CC Avery, was Bob from Bob's Burgers, Fry from Futurama, April O'Neil from Ninja Turtles. Oh, by the way, AT, so keep this in mind. I'm going to read these. Keep in your mind your number 1, your number 2, and your number 3. Okay?
Okay.
And why don't we decide what the prizes are? We'll go number 1 is...
Oh, okay. Well, are we giving away a Flaviar membership?
Flaviar membership. We'll go Flaviar number 1. Since
puzzle, Dreamland number 2, puzzle number 3.
All right, so here we go.
Also, just to show you, 1 drink, 1 water.
Oh, that's right.
Secret to success, my friends. 1 drink, 1 water.
Okay, here we go. Bob, so I'm going to read the 5. I'm going to let you make the pick here on the 1 through 3. Here we go.
I need to pay attention. Okay, I'm going to write everything down. Here we go. I just want the names so I can figure this out. So you'll tell me the name and then you'll read out what they proposed, and that way I'll be able to keep everything.
What if I did this? What if I were to use the power of technology
of the internet?
And said, no, I'm not going to do
Dan,
that.
I can't hear you. I can't see you. Is this working? Is it on?
I'd rather you write it down. I was going to send it to you, but you know what? Get the pen out and write it down.
I got it.
Just for Puka Dan. There's my revenge.
Puka Dan, anything.
Wait till you see how tired your hand is by the end of this.
I don't write. Typically, I have another person do it for me, but I can do it.
Here we go. Bob from Bob Burger. Fry from Futurama.
What's this person's name?
CC Avery.
CC Avery. Okay, go.
Bob from Bob Burgers. Fry from Futurama. April O'Neil from Ninja Turtles. Cartman from South Park. And Shaggy.
Okay. My phone auto-corrected that into absolute gibberish. So wait a minute. Who was the first one? Bob's Burgers.
Bob from Bob's Burgers.
From
Fry from Futurama.
Fry from Futurama.
April O'Neil from the Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. Okay. Yep.
Cartman and Shaggy.
Okay, I got it. I got the first one.
Leanne T. Charlie Brown. We gets us both. Popeye. Cartman. Leanne, I think you might have lost it here. Mr. Magoo. Clearly.
It was not my favorite.
Clearly, Aisha has something against Mr. Magoo. And then Beavis and Butthead, which technically are 2 people, but we'll count them as 1. Yeah, okay. So that's Leanne T.
Hold on. I mean, apparently my thumbs are on absolute revolt. Who was the first one?
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown. Yeah. I just put in CB, and then my phone corrected it to the word can, because my phone is a saboteur.
Can?
Can. Just the word can. Like, I can't do it. I'm like, phone, what?
Maybe your phone is somehow telling us that Charlie Brown will get the football. He
Good
can't.
God. Can he please get the football? This, like, his life is a Buddhist koan, right? Like an unsolvable problem, an essential question about human nature and the aspirations of pluck. But good God, let this kid kick this fucking football.
Kick the fucking football. All right, Renee Rivas, Reives. Renee.
Rivas.
Bob Belcher. It's Bob Burgers.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hold on. I'm a very slow typer. Bob.
Okay.
Yep.
Fry from Futurama. Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Rick Sanchez, Rick and Morty, and Steve Smith, American Dad.
Okay. All right. All right. Renee, we got her. Cool.
Musashi Street.
Musashi, just, you better live your life with that excellent name. I want you to get a t-shirt with your name on it. And then
Musashi Street. Musashi Street. That's a great name. Musashi Street.
What's the last name?
Streeb. Streb.
Yeah, guys. If we were in a name competition, Musashi has killed you all dead.
Samurai Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Fry. Finn the Human. Archer. And Vincent was one of the kids from BoJack.
Okay, so Samurai, I'm so behind you. Samurai Jack, Fry.
Finn the Human. Archer. And Vincent from BoJack.
Okay, BoJack. Yeah. Okay.
And then finally, Leslie Newman, Eliza Mazza. I don't know who that is, but I'll pretend like I do. Miss Fizzle, Lois Griffin, Gaz from Invader Zim, and Daria.
All right. Well, I really love this. I love this whole thing.
So let's go number three. Let's go number three, which would be the, what are we going to say number three is?
Number three is the puzzle. Number three is the puzzle. All right. Oh, man. This is hard, actually. First of all, like, kudos to everybody. You've done a good job. All right. Three.
Okay.
Is going to be Leslie Newman.
Leslie Newman. Congratulations, Leslie.
The puzzle, the one-of-a-kind puzzle for Leslie Newman. Two is going to be, oh, this is just tough, guys. I want you to know I really respect all of the effort. I respect the struggle. I respect the hustle. Okay, so three was Leslie Newman. Man, I have a lot of affection for a lot of what's happened here, but I'm going to give number two to Renee Rivas because of the Hank Hill. There were very few Hank Hill refs and Hank Hill.
Got a Rick and Morty.
Sanchez in America. That's good. Very, very good. Very good. So number one is Musashi Streeb, who just won for the name alone, but also Musashi with the deep cuts, with the Samurai Jack ref and with the BoJack ref, like he killed it. So there you go. But everybody's a winner here.
We all are. Guys, congratulations on that win. I'm going to retreat back to my...
You're going to retreat? Are you retreating?
I'm retreating. Hold on. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm so close to being done with this.
You're doing such a good job. I'm so
you and I are staying on when this thing ends, and we're going to finish.
Let's get that going. Have you done any Zoom happy hours where you sign off at like after 3 hours, and then the next day your friends are like, we were on it until 2. I'm like,
I know, absolutely.
Okay. Are you okay?
You and I have broken the record here on NightCap Live. We have had the longest show in NightCap Live history, and I'm happy about that.
I couldn't know this about me. I have a reputation amongst my friends, just to cap all of this off, for being the person who, like, if I'm going to go at midnight, I'm going to go at midnight. But once it's like 2 o'clock, I'm going to make you all stay up until the sun comes up. Like once the challenge has been set that we're going to we're going to go long, then I'm going to make everybody go so long that they don't ever want to see me again. So I'm just proud of you and me. I'm proud of what we've done here.
We have done it.
I want to remind everybody really quickly, my happy hours were twice a week. Right now with everything's going on and I want to be doing more volunteering, they're probably going to diminish. But if you follow me at Aisha Tyler on all platforms, I'll be tweeting out resources, tweeting out ways that you can help, tweeting out ways that you can donate. And I'll be showing up as much as I can personally to assist with everything that's going on in the world right now with fighting for the safety of Black people all people in this country. And so, and I'll be doing more happy hours to raise money for charity. So come say hi to me, come follow me if you are so inclined. If you had a hard time getting the old fashioned, I just want to remind you that the email to write is nightcaplive@flaviar.com, and we'll figure it out. I think we must have just sold out of what we had on hand, but we will get you more product. And then I want to thank, see, old podcast me is kicking in. I want to thank Dan because I always love seeing your face, and I think that you're the greatest. I'm not going to call you Dan Buldorf for now. We're gonna take it. You know what? You're like, you know the guys in the Wu-Tang Clan, and he's like, he have like multiple names. They're like, you know, they're like Dirty Bastard, aka ODB, okay, Dirty Dog, aka Down in the Dirt. So you can just be like Puka Dan, aka Bicycle Chain, aka Dan Buldorf. That's what I've got for you now.
I appreciate it.
Just,
I want to remind everybody out there, follow me at The Imbiber. We talked about Boona, my dog. It's her 8-year, it's our anniversary of getting together. There's a great picture of Boona on my Instagram right now. Put a comment up there. Tell her how much you love her. She loves that. She loves hearing from you. You know, I know that you all have a lot of options out there. Everybody is Instagram living. Everybody's doing this. And I know on behalf of Aisha, I want to thank you for spending this time with us here. And next week on the show, what else I got to do? Oh, subscribe and hit the bell. Become a member of Flaviar, because Flaviar is doing this, and it's a cool thing. And I am. I love getting that box every quarter. It's exciting to get it.
So and you think about what to do next, right? It kind of, they curate everything for you, and they kind of teach you about new things. And that's part of the joy of being a spirits enthusiast, is learning about new products and new sources and new experiences, which I think is really, really cool. So I also want to thank Flaviar for bringing me on, because this is like so fun. Continue. I cut you off.
No problem. And then again, I'm going to tell you this. You know, I do this for a living. I have my podcast. I really do love Courage and Stone, and I highly recommend it. Get some. Next week on the show, we've got Carlos Mencia joining us on this very show. Carlos Mencia next week here on NightCap Live, Thursday, I guess it is. Yeah. And again, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Visit me at courageandsnow.com if you have the energy. Thank you so much, Dan. That was so great. Look at Dan in the house.